All right. Good evening. Kim Baker here with the Victim Survivor Conquer Ministry coming to you on this Tuesday evening. A little warm here in the West Texas desert this week, like it is in a lot of areas of the country. But anyway, we're here to talk about narcissism again. Okay. And tonight, we're going to start out taking a little test. Okay. So as you join in, couple quick announcements, and we'll get into the personality disorder test. Okay. First off, down at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, where it says vscministry.com, that is our website. Okay. You can go to our website and you can download this material. Okay. Or any of the other 9 classes that we offer. Okay. Up in your left hand corner of your screen where it said donate, that QR code. Okay. That will take you to our secure PayPal account. Okay. We are a nonprofit ministry and do depend upon the generous donations of our viewers and listeners and followers. So if you can help in any way, no amount is too little. Okay. It just helps to keep us going, supply materials and stuff like that, office supplies and stuff. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's test. Okay. Now, as we're taking this test, what I really want you to try to focus on is, because we've had people in the past come and they will, they're wanting to see, okay, is my partner, is my wife or my husband a narcissist? Okay. And that's fine. That's fine. Okay. If you want to, do they have the traits? Okay. But what about yourself? Wouldn't you want to know, if maybe you have some traits of narcissism? Okay. And just because you have some trait doesn't mean that you're a narcissist or there's anything wrong with you or anything like that. Okay. Because there's a lot of people that has some of the traits that narcissists do project, that they show to people. Okay. And we'll talk about it a little bit more as we go on. But be very honest with yourself, okay? Because that is the only way you're going to really get a true answer from this, okay? So, do you have a NPD or do you have a narcissistic personality disorder? Okay, so we can use this quiz to tell whether you may have some traits or someone that you may know, could be a spouse, could be a friend, whatever, that maybe they do exhibit some symptoms of mild narcissism. Okay. Or you may find out, that maybe you've got a more severe case of NPD or narcissistic personality disorder. Okay. So let's move on as we go on in this. Okay. So the first question is this: do you experience an exaggerated sense of self-importance that frequently involves the need to exaggerate your talents or accomplishments? Do you exaggerate your talents, or your accomplishments. Okay? Now, here's how you're going to answer. Okay? First, be never. Okay? No, I never do that. Okay? Fine. Rarely. Okay? What about sometimes? Or often? Or very often? Okay? So here's what you're going to do. Okay? If you got a pencil and paper, just you can put down number one, and here's the scoring on it. Okay? So it'll be 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. Okay? So that's how you're going to score yourself. Okay? So let's say that you are, zero. I'm sorry. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's how you score it. Lost it there for a second. Okay? So let's say you rarely do this. Maybe every once in a while you might, but it's very rare. Okay? So you give yourself 1 point. Okay? So just write down 1 point. Okay? So let's look at the next one then. Do you believe that you are special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high status people or institutions? Okay? Now, listen. You were designed and made by God Almighty. So yes, you are special, you are unique, okay? But we're talking about a different standard here than that, okay? But do you feel like that you are unique to other people, okay? Not just because you were, made or designed by God, or God had you in mind when you were born, okay? And that you have to associate with people that you see that has a high status in society. Okay? Again, you're going to rate it never, which is 0 points, rarely 1, sometimes 2, often 3, very often 4. Okay? All right. Do you find that you constantly have a willingness to take advantage of others to achieve your goals? Okay? Does it bother you? Do you take advantage of others? Does it bother you to take advantage of others? Okay. Scoring system again, 0 through 4. 0 through 4. Okay. Next question. Do you require excessive admiration from others? Okay. Again, never is 0. Rarely, sometimes, often, very often. Okay? Are you preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love? Okay? So again, never, rarely, sometimes, often, very often. Do you have a sense of entitlement from others that involved unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with their expectations. Okay? And again, please try to be very honest with yourself. Okay? So again, never, rarely, sometimes, often, very often. Do you find that you are unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of other people? Okay. So, do you have trouble showing empathy to other people or situations? Could be. Okay. Again, it's never, rarely, sometimes, often, and very often. Okay. Do others perceive you as arrogant or snobby? Okay. Has anybody ever told you that they thought you were arrogant or snobby? Okay. Again, you're going to score yourself 0 through 4. Okay. Do you find that you're often envious of others and or believe that others are envious of you? Hmm? Never, rarely, sometimes, often, very often. Okay? So that so that's the test. Okay? Now, what you're going to do, you're going to add up your total. Okay? And it's 0 through 5. If you no 0 through 8, I think. Yeah, 0 through 8. If you score between a 0 and an 8, no, just 5. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I thought I had it on a slide, but it's 0 through 5. You scored anywhere from 0 to 5 points. Uh, you basically are showing no signs of narcissism. Okay, maybe a little slight narcissism. Okay. Uh, then 5 through 15 is what would be considered mild or moderate or medium narcissism. Okay. And then 15 and above, then yeah, we're probably looking at possibility. Okay. Because just because you take this test for yourself or for someone else, okay, and you score, in the 20 range, 20 or 20 plus range, still does not actually mean that you are a narcissist or they are a narcissist. Okay. It's still to be fully diagnosed as having NPD, it takes a professional therapist to do that. Okay. But answering these questions will give you some input, some insight that, okay, maybe I am, maybe I really am, or maybe I don't. Okay. Now, when we done this in class a couple months ago in our in-person group, there was one gentleman there that, as he was taking the test, he kept looking up and kept looking at me, and I was like, and we're very good friends, and I was just kind of wondering, I wonder what's going through his mind. Because you could see the wheels turning in his head, that something was going on. And so after we finished taking the test, everybody shared what they scored. Okay, uh, nobody there scored 8 was the highest, and it was actually him. And the thing about it was that was uh, a little bit funny. It wasn't really funny, but anyway, I really thought he would score very low. I mean, I figured he would be below a 5 for sure. And he was the highest score of 8. And he's like, ah, man, I can't believe that. I scored an 8. And that's not high. But what it shows is this, is that there's a lot of people that do have certain traits that is associated with being a narcissist or narcissism. Okay? And there's certain jobs that it kind of takes some of those traits to do those jobs. Doctors, lawyers, salesmen. Okay? So here's the thing, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this study and this discussion in class, is because I was wondering if this term narcissist was being thrown around maybe a little bit more than what it should be. Okay. And I think to a certain extent it has been. But on the other hand, after going through this and studying it and then teaching it, I've come to realize it is really more prevalent than what I really thought it was. Okay. Now, did I think it was real? Absolutely. Did I think it's an issue? Yes. But was it as bad as it seemed? Because it seemed like there for a while, I was just getting bombarded with the word narcissism on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere that I turned. And so that's the reason why we started doing this. And plus, I've had people in class before that has dealt with this issue. And so I felt like it was a good topic that ought to be covered. So that's the reason why we're offering it. Okay. So what about in women? Is there a difference between narcissism in men and women? Okay. And we talked about that the very first week. And there are some differences. Okay. Now, yes, a woman can be a narcissist. Absolutely, they can be. Okay. It's not just a male issue. Okay. Now, do the males dominate the issue? Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. But, so, here are some 8 signs that you may be dealing with a female narcissist. Now, when we were going through this in class and talking about this, and when we got to right here, there was a lady in there that said, wow. And after we went through these signs, she was like, I think maybe my boss could be a narcissist because to her, she fit a lot of these signs. So let's look at them, okay? According to a survey taken in 2013 by the American Psychiatric Association, 50 to 70% of males were diagnosed with NPD. Okay? 50 to 70%. Pretty high number. Okay? While women were at 25 to 50%. Okay? So quite a bit lower. Now, still, pretty good number. I think it's still a pretty good number. But 25 to 50% of women accounted for having NPD. Okay? Now, what it doesn't tell us is how many people was in this survey. And yeah, that could matter, but we're going off of what their findings were. Okay. So many times women are often underdiagnosed with narcissism as their behaviors and narcissistic patterns are often associated with other personality disorders. Okay. That diagnosis, such as borderline personality disorder. Okay. Why do you think that women are underdiagnosed? I thought that was kind of interesting fact that they said that women were underdiagnosed. Okay. Does that mean that the medical profession are they not taking the women seriously? Are they just assuming that a woman has got other issues? I don't know. I don't know what the answer might be. But I thought that really stood out to me when it said that women were underdiagnosed. Okay? Because to me that means that there's an issue somewhere. Either with the standards that doctors are using to diagnose or something. Okay? Don't know. Not sure. If you've got any ideas, man, I'd love a comment from you on this. Because if you do leave a comment, I will definitely read them and I will definitely respond to them. Okay? All right. So narcissism traits in women it's not a new thing. It's nothing really new. And while there does seem to be a gender gap, in which we just showed that with that survey, you're talking about 50 to 70 versus 25 to 50. Okay. The traits and signs of narcissism in females and males tend to differ slightly. Okay. Not a huge difference, but there is a difference. Okay. So we're going to look at them. So, is there a difference between male and female narcissists? Yes. We've already answered that question, hadn't we? Yeah. Yeah. For one thing, the amount of narcissism, there's a difference. And now we've already have been told that some of the traits and some of the signs are different. So let's look at that. Well, you can spot the exact difference between a man's and woman's personality. Or, well, can you spot? Sorry, I said that wrong. But anyway, similarly, you can't exactly spot the difference between a male and female narcissist. Yet, narcissistic traits in men and women can manifest differently. For example, when a male narcissist gets angry, they react more aggressively and violently. Okay? There's no doubt about that. But a female narcissist, when they get angry, they tend to punish the other person by withholding affection. Okay? So men react, and that's a very fair assessment. A female narcissist is more likely to use guilt or neglect to control others, whereas a male narcissist may use their power and ranking to exert control. Okay? Because remember, if you've been with me if you watched for any number of times, you probably have heard me talk about this at some point, that all abuse, doesn't matter if it's narcissism, if it's sexual abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, or even spiritual abuse, it is about control. They want control of your life, of the situation. Okay? Another way wherein a male and female narcissist may exert control is through codependency. A narcissistic man may usually look to gain control from their romantic partner, whereas a narcissistic woman may look towards her partner and children. Okay? And that is one thing that kind of stuck out with me, is that all through this study, it's only when we start talking about women that children become involved. It has made me wonder and made me question why. What's the difference? And why would a woman take these traits and use them upon their kids? You know, I'm sitting there trying to think of the best way of saying it, but you know. So there's a lot of things that kind of have piqued my interest, and I've wondered about, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the answer might be. A female narcissist is likely to see their children as an extension of themselves and won't hesitate to strike there. Okay, and that's what this says. So, don't know. Again, man, if you got a comment about this or you got an opinion, I'd love to hear it. So now let's take a look at how to spot narcissism in women. Okay, here's the 8 signs. Oh, let's see what the Bible's got to say about women. Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. For this is the way that holy women of the past who put their hope in God used to adorn themselves. They submitted themselves to their own husbands, like Sarah. Okay? And I'm not going to get into that last little bit of it, but what I want to just, here's my question. Okay? What would or how would you want to be adorned if you were standing in the presence of God Almighty? If you were standing in the physical presence of God Almighty, how would you want to be adorned? Okay? Or, what image? Okay, we need to be kind of careful with that word of image, but, what do you want to portray? What would you want him to see? What would you want Jesus to see? And I'm not coming down, believe me, I'm not coming down on women because men, to me, consider this topic, this discussion right here, is what would we want to come out of us if we were standing in the presence of Jesus Christ and the Lord Almighty? You know, would we want narcissistic traits to be visible? So, 8 signs of a narcissistic woman. Okay? She acts as a martyr. A female narcissist believes that her pain is greater than anybody else's. Their suffering is greater. Their efforts are more and their efforts are more compared to others. They often want you to acknowledge that their pain and suffering is great when really it could be minimal. Uh, but if you ignore this, they are likely to feel offended and get angry. Okay? Well, you shouldn't feel that way. Well, I do feel that way. Uh, she's superficial. Female narcissists are insecure, and to mask their insecurities, they tend to be more superficial when it comes to their social image, their looks, and their physical traits. Also referred to as somatic narcissism. A narcissistic woman is hardly interested in characteristics and values unless they validate her self image. She tends to be competitive. A narcissistic woman is competitive and is more likely to get envious. She wanted to be the best, the smartest, the most successful woman and would try to bring conversations back to them and their experiences. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. We're talking about me here. We're not going to talk about you. We're going to talk about me. Okay. She's overbearing. Another sign of a narcissistic woman is that she can be overbearing. They tend to dominate their kids' lives too. For example, a narcissistic female is more likely to come up to their child's house and rewash their clothes. They believe they are an expert in things and think that their way is the best way. It's my way or the highway. Yeah. Uh-huh. She often gives a cold shoulder. Female narcissists don't lash out aggressively when they're angry. Rather, they're more likely to give the cold shoulder. The need for control is always there, and while a male narcissist may use his charm and status to exert control, a female narcissist may use neglect and guilt to exert control. She values materialistic goods. To a narcissistic woman, materialistic goods hold a greater value than anything else. Materialistic goods help her get the validation that she needs. Okay? It's all about the clothes, the jewelry, the car, the house. Okay? This doesn't mean that a narcissist woman needs to have money to buy these things. She just needs to be able to get her hands on them. This can include manipulating others as well. She's emotionally unavailable. Narcissistic people lack empathy, and the same goes for a narcissistic woman. A female narcissist lacks emotional stability and warmth. She's capable of basic human emotions, but anything more than that requires her to be emotionally open and can seem out of her wheelhouse. She's not interested in nurturing emotional relationships. She hardly cares about boundaries. Another sign of a narcissistic woman is that she doesn't care about boundaries. The female narcissists seek admiration and validation. So they are more likely to gaslight you. They push boundaries when they feel that they're being ignored. Are you dealing with a narcissistic woman? Here's what to do. If the above signs of a narcissistic woman are familiar, then you must be wondering what to do next. The first thing you need to do is stay on guard and try not to lose your focus. If a narcissistic woman engages in inappropriate and manipulative behavior, then you need not engage with them. Don't engage with them. Okay? Try to stay calm. Keep in mind that no matter how much you try, you can't change their thinking, their insecurities, or their idea of their self-importance. Okay? If you're dealing with a female narcissist, then you can try to maintain a healthy emotional distance, just like other narcissists. Try to establish some firm boundaries too. Remember, you can't change a narcissistic personality no matter how much you wish to. All you can do is keep your mental and emotional health in check. Okay? All right, we're going to be stopping right there because we don't have enough time before the hour's up to get through this. Okay? But I hope that brought out some good information for you. Maybe something you've not heard about, not seen. Okay? Maybe it's answered some of your questions. It may have increased your questions. Okay? If you have a question, if you have a comment about anything that we discussed tonight, if you want to shoot me a message, feel free to. Again, any comment, any message that I receive, they will be read and they will be responded to. Okay? May not be immediately responded to, but it will be responded to. Okay? So, again, remember down in the bottom left-hand corner, if you hadn't been to our website, hadn't downloaded this material, if you don't live near Odessa, Texas, go to our website, download this material or any of the other material that you would like to have a copy of. Print it, keep it, save it, share it, whatever. Okay? If you would, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a donate button, and there's a donate. It's a QR code. It will take you to our secure PayPal account. Okay? We are a nonprofit that depends upon donations from our viewers, our listeners, and our participants in class. Okay? So if I believe me, I understand financially how things are right now in this country. Uh, you know, maybe we could, instead of buying a Starbucks tomorrow, hey, I'm gonna donate my $5 to VSC or to Victim Survivor Conqueror Ministry, so they can continue reaching out to other people. Okay. If you are in the Midland, Odessa, Texas area, okay, want to remind you that on Thursday night we do have an in-class study and support group. Okay, and right now we're talking about anger, about facing the fire within us. Okay, so it is at 7 o'clock at 3319 North Golder Avenue in Odessa, Texas. We start at 7 p.m. On Thursday evenings. Okay? And be sure and tune in next Tuesday night. Okay? We're going to be back in. We're going to start talking about some healing things, some things that you can do to heal from narcissistic abuse. Okay? So we're going to start talking about that. But also, big, big, big announcement coming next week. Brand new study. Have never done it. I'm in the process of putting it together right now. So I will be making that announcement next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. as we go on air. Okay? And it is going to be good. It is going to be a good one. Okay? Have a great rest of your week. God bless. And we'll see you back here next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Okay? Have a great rest of your week.